And first of all, probably in the, how to say, background of all what's happening around, I would like to thank you all for the job you do today, because we are all working in the integration services, and nowadays we have full disintegration and isolation, and that face all kind of difficulties to us on everyday basis. So I will try to show you the round tour to our Valakupiaи Rehabilitation Center, though we have not occupied on 100% because of the COVID. Our extents of the clients are a little bit lower because of the distance, because of the people sick with the COVID and not vaccinated and not tested and so on. So I will not show you many people who are here in the center, and that is sad. But the good news are that we, in the COVID times especially, we started to reorientate ourselves more, not to the inside centers in the center services, but to the community-based centers services. So that means that we go outside the center and provide services in the park, in the at homes, and in all the community-based settings we can imagine. So I am Natalia from Lithuania, and I'm happy to know that I can follow Macedonian language because I know Russian. So any secrets you would tell in Macedonian, I think I will follow. I am social worker. My background is social work, and in the Valakupiaи Rehabilitation Center, I work as a manager of vocational rehabilitation department. But actually, it grew up from only vocational rehabilitation, and now it is more about integrational services. So all kinds of integrational services. So today I will show you how we are as the center, and then we will tell you about social workshops. So I welcome you to the first video. Let me find it. Here it is. Let's do the full screen. And I will tell, I am muted the video, but I will tell you a little bit about what I show. So here we are not in the city center, we are a little bit in the suburbs, and in the far away, if I stop a little bit, go back, in the far away here, you can't see, but it is a river there. So we find ourselves by the river, but in Vilnius city. So that is a good recovery settings we can find in Vilnius. Here we have our Vilnius facility, and mainly it is about medical rehabilitation, but as I said, we also have the integrational services. So here we enter the center, and again, if I stop a little bit here, here on the right, you can see the new room, which we accommodated for the distant consultation. And that came with the COVID times because we lowered down the contact face-to-face consultation or the meetings with the clients. And even in the center, we are trying not to meet in one room with the clients, but we try, if it is possible, to do it via Zoom, Skype, Facebook Messenger, or whatever. So we use a lot of video conversations with the clients to assess some problems, or to talk, the psychologists talk to the people even when they are in the center and in the room. We use this video contact not to meet directly, and that's how we control the COVID in our center. But also we use that room for the contacts with the relatives who are at home and cannot visit the center, and that make them a lot of stress because they cannot come in and see and meet and talk with their husbands or daughters or sons. So that's how we ensure that they keep contact. So that is about the room. It's accommodated with the computer and the camera, so it's easy to contact the others. So here we have a big hall with several rooms. That is the room before that you saw, here on the left. There is a doctor room. So in the medical rehabilitation, we use it a lot. In other integrational services, it just the time to time, it is if it's needed, but we lower down all kind of medical support inside the center for the integrational services, because we should use all the community-based services for those matters. To go further, so here in the hall we have a reception where the people come, they are welcomed and so on. And we have 3 floors. They are almost the same. So, and in each floor we have the room accommodation, how to say, part with the rooms. And I didn't film the room inside because there are people there, but it's a standard room with 2, 3, or 4 beds in it, and we accommodate all the clients, all the service users who need accommodation, and if it is foreseen or planned in the service plan. And if it's paid, of course. So mainly it is medical rehabilitation, because the other can come and go. But for example, in vocational rehabilitation, if it is difficult for people to come, if they're in a wheelchair or if they are blind, and it is they struggle to come every day to the center and back home, we can provide them with the accommodation as the dorms. So no other services as the nurses or doctors, they are not providing any services, but we just give the room to sleep over till another day and rehabilitation starts again. So that is the first floor. On the right, I didn't film it also, but we have a canteen where people can get the breakfast, lunch, and the dinner. And again, it depends on how the program is financed. If it's foreseen in the financing system, we provide the meal. So, for example, in the medical rehabilitation, where the service level is high with a lot of services, we provide the meal. In the vocational rehabilitation, we provide only a lunch. And in other services, we can provide a lunch, but people pay themselves in the canteen. So they can get the hot meal, but they pay it themselves. So here we come to the sports hall or occupational therapy hall. So it's not only for the sport, but it's more for the rehabilitation. So here I stop a little bit, and the occupational or physiotherapy hall we use not only for recovery, for rehabilitation in medical program, but we also use it for the assessment services, and you will hear that later in all kinds of programs that, for example, in vocational rehabilitation or in vocational or in other integrational into the labor market programs, we have the assessment system, and the assessment system is not only about employability, but it's also about the different skills you have. And it's also about physical, psychosocial, and other skills. So the physical part is assessed in the physiotherapy hall, where, for example, if the person wants to work as the salesman in the shopping mall, and he needs to lift all kinds of weights, in the shopping center. So our specialists, the physiotherapists, are are trained in the functional assessment method, where they can assess all kinds of movements if people still have them. So let's think about that we serve all kinds of disabilities, people in a wheelchair, people with no arms or legs, blind people, with a hearing disability, with a mental and others. So we test also the physical part of the body, if this part is okay to act as the desired position in the labor market, because all kinds of physical skills are needed in the labor market also. It's not the biggest part of the assessment, but if we see that there is he wants to work as a postman, delivering the mails to the homes in the community, yeah? But he's hard to walk, or we notice that there is something with the walking skills. So we ask them, as the employment managers or the case managers for the physiotherapy, let's look into this skill, if it is enough for walking 4 to 8 hours a day in the community. Or if it's not, then what is the possibility or the ability of the person, how active he can be, how many hours he can be active in walking, and what is the recommendation. So that's how we form the picture of the employability of the person, taking into account also physical part. Let's go to another video. Oh, sorry. Here we have so the sports hall I also filmed with that's now mostly the old people, now in the medical, as I said before, in this COVID settings. But we also here, they learn how to walk with the prosthesis and so on. Okay, another one. Yeah, it's the second floor, also with the rooms there. And here we have the, how you call them, occupational therapist with the small motorics. So this is also a part of the assessment in the medical and in all the other services. If the work, we had the jewelry program in the vocational rehabilitation, so we trained people to work as the jewelry people. So we needed to assess what are the abilities of them to work with the fine motorics. So that's where the occupational therapists come and make the assessment, and also can train a little bit the skills and abilities of the hands to work with the fine things in the jewelry. So that's how they work with a different kind of tools there. As you can see, all kind. Yeah, and what I appreciate the most is the view to the nature which we have every day. Yeah. Another what I made, yeah, also in the, yeah, and this fine motorics or occupational therapy, we also time to time, now it's several years ago, we had this independent living program. That means that the people who are freshly became disabled, and mostly people in a wheelchair or people who are blind, they face a lot of challenges with their daily living and all those skills, how to adapt themselves to the daily tasks. And here, I think here I filmed in the end. Then we learn them with the different, if you see, that is the key, the opening the door or the switchers. So all kind of things which they need to learn as a new, being blind or being in a wheelchair. We learn them in the room, and then we go to the normal settings to teach them or train them different things. Okay, and that is the another psychosocial part, and this is a social worker you will talk just in a minute too, Sandra. She's a social worker, and in all the programs we promote social work as a part of the team, and we have different kind of tools to assess the psychosocial skills and to train them later. So the social workers and psychologists use Ida Melba methodology. It's an Austrian, I think, methodology to assess psychosocial skills. So that means it's more objective to assess the problem-solving skills, the team-working skills, different kind of logic skills, if it works or not, orientation, also some tasks, how they understand the tasks, just because people, if we talk about the people with the mental disabilities, it's important to know if they understand the instructions. So this methodology helps by the questionnaire, and if you notice by the just physical tasks, for the logic thinking or for the task understanding, if the social worker gives the task and he can observe if people understand and follow the rules. And if not, then there is a recommendation how to whether adapt the tasks in the job, yeah, it should be written in words or announced each day, yeah, repeated. So then there is many recommendation can come how to adapt the job place for this person to understand more. So that is shortly about our center. So if to brief everything I said, we had a multidisciplinary team in the center, and they perform in different programs, in medical rehabilitation, in integration services, in community-based services. So whatever, whenever the psychologist is needed, he works in different kind of services. So that's how our service is organized. And it is indoor and also outdoor. And we try to lower the rate of the services which need indoor serving. And we try to open up all the services which don't need any facility, but in the community, they happen in the community-based services. And that's not only because of the facilities, but it's more about the integration. It's more about the deinstitutionalization, that all the services should happen somewhere in the common circumstances and not in the institutional settings. Yeah, and little by little we come to the social workshops, one of our indoor service. And yeah, let me show you now the video about our social workshop, that you would see how it happens. And then Sandra will tell you what is the purpose of those services, who can come to that services, and what is the goal and the, how to say, final destination of these services. So let's look in the video. Yeah, so you can see that in the social workshops, they do different kind of products. And the main difference from the vocational rehabilitation or from other services are that those products should be sold in the market. So this is not just only for learning, but it's for selling and making the turnover of the profit in the organization. And that is the idea of that is not the money itself, but the meaningful job. So we have this tradition in the occupational centers in all over Lithuania, who invites people for the day activities that they were doing just things for the sake of doing and not some real products, but for example, painting or some kind of handcrafts which are not even usable, but just to do, just to occupy them. So from there came the idea that we need to do some things which are really demanded in the market, which the people will use them. And this is the, how to say, the idea for this is for the market to do the products and to sell them and to gain some money back to the service, but also for the people to feel that they do something what normal people would do in the market and not something what is not needed for anyone. And from the longest perspective, those people, as we have this Soviet time period, those people with disabilities were not needed by anyone. And here comes their self-esteem also from there, that they are no one coming from nowhere and doing things which are not needed by anyone. So now in Lithuania, we are little by little coming out of that. And that's where social workshops idea come from. So have the orders from the market, something what someone really needs and pay money for. Is it a product or is it a service? We perform that, we do that and sell it for the money. And those money are reinvested to the service. And in the service description, there is an obligation that we need to do 5% of the service budget of sales. So whatever the budget is, 5% should come back through the sales. And that push up us a little bit to look for really orders and really do what market needs and not just something. But the struggle is that there are a lot of orders in the market, but the struggles is the complication of the operations. So as we know that we invite people with a moderate or severe disability, that means that they are not Superman who can do anything in any time. So the challenge is to find the most simple job, the people who prepare to pay for this simple job, and and put the price for that job. And then the timeline is also the challenge. That in the market, you know how the market goes. It goes fast, they want fast something. And for example, those sustainable pockets, yeah, they are meant for the shopping markets to replace the plastic bags, which we carry the food in, the vegetables or the fruits. But if we go to the shopping mall, they say we need thousands of them every month in each town. And we understand that we can't do it in such a time frame. So we look for the little orders then in the market, and that stops us a little bit from really doing turnover of sales. So that is a little tour, a little glimpse to our center. And now, if you want directly to ask me something, please do it. If not, then I give the floor to the Sandra, who will tell you a little more specific what the social workshop is about.
Lassa, what can I say?
Natalia.
Sorry, Natalia. Yes, I am gobsmacked. I mean, I think all of us, we are reflecting and we are saying where you are and where we are here in Macedonia. But let me say, first of all, to our colleagues here from the Macedonian context, from here, from Skopje and all over in Macedonia. My dearest friends and colleagues, what we are looking now in Lithuania is our future. This is where we're going to be. This is the things that we will be developed. And that's why today learning from all that is so important. Natalia, you gave us amazing food for thought. I have written something like 2 pages here. Obviously, we don't have time, but I want to start with something very, very significant. The ICF, the fine and gross motor assessment is happening, obviously, before somebody comes in your organization. It's happening before. And that is something that will happen in Macedonia very soon, because at the moment we do not have the ICF. We will have it.
We have 2 commissions, sorry.
Sorry, please, Dusan, come on that. I would
We
like
have 2 commissions, they do assessment according to ICF. Now they are opening another 7. And
exactly.
we have 9 until end of this year.
Exactly, exactly.
We have 600 children waiting to do assessment according to ICF.
Absolutely. It is a historical moment for Macedonia. It is historical for the community of the disabled people. Dula and so many people work for years for that. We are starting having the ICF. It will change our realities. But here is the future. The future is what Natalia said, the matching process. The matching process between the requirements of the job position and the capacities of the person and the adaptation element. And I want to ask you something very specific, Natalia. This matching process requires that you have the position ready and you have also a person who is relatively near the expectations of the position, and then you go into more specific expectations from the job position, and you assess how much this is one and the other. Usually the adaptation is we take some person who is really capable of doing what is expected, and also some ergonomic solutions within the post, within the job position. I want to ask, you've said something very serious. You've talked about the dreams and aspirations of the person and how relative this is in terms to be achieved. Is this all part of the activation plan that you are developing in the center? And how much your activation plans can be so successful? Because last year you had 90% success. This is a very big number. I am impressed. How do you do it?
Yeah, so first of all the numbers has the explanation. So this 90% is a little bit cheeky because we had only 10 clients and 9 of them entered the open labor market. So that is 90%. But 9 of 10. So those 10 were a little bit maybe stronger than usually. Our normal rate is 40 to 50% of success rate. What about the dreams? Yes, dreams and aspiration. And we came to this idea in the vocational rehabilitation when we struggled with the motivation of people who come and they don't want to work, but all the others want that they would work. And then we started to talk to people, but okay, forget the job, but let's speak about what you want in your life. after 2 or 3 or 10 years, if it is ideal world, what you would like to do, what are your dreams are. And they start to talk about different people. Some of them want that their children grow happy and healthy and so on. Some of them want to have children if it is women. So nothing to do about the work and job. But if you come down to what you need to do for that, you always come to the job, or you need to steal and go to the prison. So there are, in almost all the cases, it goes to the job, or in some cases, I get back to the property the people had. He has 5 flats in Vilnius and he rents them. And he had a lot of money and he don't need to work. Then I need just to accept that the job is not what he needs to do for the moment. And let's not waste all the money and my time and your time for the rehabilitation, and we don't need to fool each other for that. So let's stop it now, please go. And we give the recommendation back to the labor office that it's a wasting of money to push this person to work.
Yeah.
But normally, in normal cases, all the time you come to the job that you need to work and you need to earn to be in Maldives next summer, or to have the kids because they want to eat, they need to dress up something, and you need to pay for the electricity. So that is about aspiration and dreams and vocational rehabilitation. In social workshops, it's a little bit different things, but it's also connected to motivation. Why? So all kind of the activities we plan in the activation plan, we comes to why you need it. And if we cannot find the answer why it's needed, then stop doing it. So, and with some people, Sandra knows that we never found the question why he needs to come here. He doesn't want, he doesn't like the activity. He don't need the money because he has all kind of social supports and he's enough of that. So why he needs to come here? And you just don't find any reasons and you let him go. So you make an agreement with him that let's try for 2 weeks. Even after 2 weeks, you tell me that no, I don't like it, I don't want it. Then stay at home and we give the notice to another maybe institution, mental health service or whomever, who observe him, but not in the social workshops. So that's where we go to the dreams and aspirations.
Who is finding the job? Is it you, the employer, the position, or is it the employment agency?
Yeah, it's a good question. In the former times, we had the complex rehabilitation program. So in vocational rehabilitation, we had all the steps: assessment, vocational orientation, then vocational training and education, and the employment position. So we had inside the center, I was formerly the employment officer. So in the center, we follow the people and try to find them the place in the labor market. But we had changes in all the system, and the state, the ministry said that no. We have the mainstream employment office, and they should take care of all the people. Do they have disability or not? So please do all the preparation job because that is specific. And then give it back to the employment office and we will take care of the employment process. So we know everything about the labor market, we know the places, so we will place them. If he needs a follow-up, we will come back to you to give him follow-up in the job place. So that was the changes.
We have a question from Ankita, our IPA unit colleague.
Please.
Who says, very important question, which institution do control and monitor your performance and quality of service? I mean, who is your line institution that would externally control and monitor you?
In the high level, it is Social Security and Labor Ministry. And then it is the Labor Office, National Labor Office.
The employment agency, yes.
Yeah. So in vocational rehabilitation. In the social workshops, it is the Department of the Affairs of the Disabled under the Ministry of Social Security and Labor.
What about the contracting that you have with the municipalities?
Then the municipality controls the social services. It's mainly about the social services then. So then the municipality controls.
Yes. So Alexandra is asking, you are not, so it means that you are not providing during the employment process support services. Yes.
That is in vocational rehabilitation, but in the employment support, we will talk next week for the people with the severe mental and intellectual disability. We provide follow-up services also.
This was my question actually, whether you're providing follow-up services once they are employed.
Yes, we do, but only for the severe mental and intellectual disability. All the others are in the mainstream.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
What are the measures at national level for promoting and supporting employment of people with disability in terms of, is it subsidies to the employers, quota systems, is it regulated nationally, is it at municipal level that the actual sort of measures are taking place? And also what I want to ask is, all the services that you provide are based on national standards. Are you providing your services based on minimum national standards, or you are providing your services based on your quality assurance ecosystem, because they are not obviously the same?
Yes, thanks. First question was, okay, the last question about the standards. So not only the care homes now have the standard of the, how to say, inside standard of the services. All the others don't have, so we go for the outside quality management system or service assurance system. And now it is a big question for the ministry, if we should go for the standards in social services, national standard, which will give the minimum level of the quality, or we should prompt or give the obligation to use the outside system. And the more that we go, it's probably will be the outside system.
Dusan wants to ask something, please. Dusan, you wanted to say something? Maybe not.
Maybe, Maria, just one second. So if there are no the standards, so how the licensing of the service provider is done basically?
The license is given not really, it's not really about the quality standards. It's more about, do you have the staff? Do you have the facility? Do you have the tools? So it's more about those hard things you should have to have the license.
These are not the minimum standards.
This, I mean, let's say that's a minimum standard, but it's not, it's partially about the quality, but not full quality.
Yeah, all right. So you were saying about national standards for quality of services.
Yes.
For the delivery of service, like accreditation.
For the accreditation, you should have the license. So the, how to say, the permission to provide certain services. Is it the medical rehabilitation or social services?
But these are technical standards, right? They have to...
It's more technical, yes.
When I will give the floor to other many questions. One thing only. When you started in 2002, did you had from the beginning this kind of continuity of service? Because you cover everything. You have this holistic continuity approach, or you build gradually?
We build gradually. And we now would like, in the ideal world, to have this graduality in the system all over the Lithuania. That in the medical rehabilitation, they already would start to talk about the vocational or the social rehabilitation or the other means. Because now the health system is a little bit apart from all the other. So when the people gets the disability, he goes to the medical rehabilitation, probably after the illness. So then in medical rehabilitation, we would like this early intervention that you would assess if he works still, but he's on the sick leave. We would like to have him and get back to the place he worked, if it's possible, or find him another job. So we would like in the system this graduality, but it's not still in the system. It's mostly in our center, but not in the national system.
One question about if you are the only licensed organization in your municipality and region, or there are others, and what about the rest of the city or state, if how many licensed providers there are in the field of disability, if you know. Another question is, do you provide the vocational training for specific occupations? I mean, only this area of labor market, or you collaborate generally and with other parties if there are something more specific that you cannot cover? Eva, please, Tanya's question is in Macedonian. Can you give it to us? The last question.
How does the National Social Service function? How is the structure, and in which way method falls the forward?
Yeah, what we've talked about quality before of the service. You answer, I think, more or less that. So yes, I mean, do you cover every area of labor integration in the labor market, whatever may be the sector, or you go with specific areas? Because you said that you provide training. That's why is the question, I think.
Yeah, in the vocational rehabilitation, we provide training. So now we are only in the cleaning sector. So we only cover the cleaning sector. And that's because of the public procurement. We have, it was procured by the labor office, and we won with the price only the cleaning sector. So with the vocational rehabilitation, we go only to the cleaning sector. In the employment services to the intellectual and mental disability, we cover everything. So we are not specified in some, so we follow the individual needs.
Tailor-made trainings.
Yes. It's not even the training, it's more as
the job.
It is people, yeah, with a mental and intellectual disability. We feel that there is not too much sense to train them for something, but they need more practical adaptation at a certain job. So that's why we go directly to the job and then provide follow-up or some training at the workplace, how to perform specific job.
And another question that I received is, you say that 10% of your staff is people with disabilities. In what areas do they work? Do they work in what we call high white collar work or blue collar work, like supportive auxiliary work?
No, different kind of job. Social worker, our social worker are a person with a disability. We had masseurs, blind. We had accountant who she was hard of hearing. She was deaf actually. Who else? We had the teacher of sewing who was in a wheelchair. So it's not connected to any kind of specific area. We have a nurse, the assistant of nurse, who is with the mental health issues. So it's a different kind of positions. Whenever we can open this position to the person with disability, we do it.
Great. There are some other questions about the monitoring. Alexandra put a question about what is the monitoring organization overall in Lithuania about in Lithuania responsible for the, why do I have an echo? Yeah, okay, Eva. Which agency in Lithuania is overall responsible, if there is an agency, if there is a ministerial department, if it is in municipality department, overall the quality of services in Lithuania, how they are evaluated and monitored?
It's a little bit not systematic, to be honest. Those new deinstitutionalization services are monitored from the Department of the Affairs of the Disabled under the ministry. So it's a department of the ministry for the affairs of the disabled. Vocational rehabilitation are monitored from the labor office. So they are monitoring the results, the process, and so on. All the other social services, we have the Department of Supervision of the Social Services. So they are responsible for the supervision of the social services.
We have the pleasure to have with us the respectable representative of the Ministry of Lithuania, who is relevant and in the Department of the Institutionalization. Natalia, I would appreciate that you introduce the respectable colleague from Lithuania from the Ministry to us. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I will apologize, Sandra. Maybe she will participate later in the discussion. She had a presentation about the social workshops, but we had a lot of questions. That's why we covered everything. So, Rasa, are you here? Rasa Genienė, ar mane girdit?
Yes, she's here. She has joined us.
So she needs...
Okay, maybe she can, maybe she adjusts the...
Може јас малку?
Rasa, ar mane girdit, ar dar nesat? Because I think your presentation is 1:30, isn't it? 1:30, not 1, but 12 in your time. So till then we can use Sandra, and she will talk about the social workshops in details, okay? Sandra?
Hello, everyone. I'll just share screen.
Sandra is a social worker, and she leads the social workshops in practice. So I am only this theoretical leader, yeah, in the support, and she's practically working as a social worker there with the people on the ground. So tell us a little bit about the social workshops.
So my name is Sandra. I am a social worker, and I'm sorry for my English skills and maybe mistakes. I'm working in a social workshop, and this social workshop is one of the implementation activities of the project from guardianship to opportunities development of the community services in order to transform the institutional care. It was decided to develop 4 types of new services for the mental and or intellectual disabled people, like social workshop, sheltered housing services,
Јас сакам да тргнам од целата суштина на самиот проект. Целата суштина на самиот проект.
We hear Dushan speaking. Is it to us or not? Yeah, okay.
Assisted employment services and decision support services. So now we talk about social workshop, short. The aim of the social workshop is to develop a person's working skills by performing meaningful occupational activities in order to reveal a person's strengths and abilities, developing independence in work activities, and to increase opportunities for employment in the open labor market. Social workshop aims to produce products and services demanded in the market. With the help of social workshops, individuals are given the opportunity to perform work tasks that are adapted to their needs, learn specific work skills, operations in a real work environment, and develop the qualities needed for a job, like punctuality, attentiveness, concentration, neatness, cooperation while performing the task, teamwork, specific work operations to improve social skills and functioning in the environment. This project duration is for 3 years. We have a workshop of sewing and wood, and the workshop working hours is 6 from 9 till 3 p.m. In accordance with the person's capabilities per day. So the person can work 1 hour or 2 how he can. In social workshop, at the same time, work skills can be developed by 10 people with disabilities. The social workshop is based on the following principles. It's person-oriented. It means focusing on person's work, employment needs, powers, and abilities. Activation, the pursuit of the greatest possible independence of a person in work activities. Adequacy, organization of work activities according to the person's potential and available real opportunities. Partnerships with the employers, non-governmental organizations, labor market orientation, orientation to labor market products, services, and social entrepreneurship, business orientation that has a positive impact on society or for certain group experiencing social exclusion. The social workshop performs the following functions: constantly assesses and forms the work skills of individuals, develops the working abilities of individuals, teaches and organizes preparation and motivates to work in the open labor market, manufactures goods, products or services in the market, sells goods and services. Social workshop participants is for person over 18 years of age with mental and or intellectual disabilities with the estimated level of work capacity from 20 to 55%. Social workshop services are provided to individuals who's living in remodeled social care facilities, group living homes, and the community. Social workshop team is employment specialist for sewing and wood, individual care specialist, social worker, and marketing specialist. So together they do various activities like wood grinding, oiling, varnishing, carving, creation of ornaments, measuring fabrics, cutting, sewing, and So in our center social workshop, we produce ecological bags, wooden phone holders, Christmas wreaths, scented bags, baskets, planting pots, and you now see how it looks, our products. This is a phone holder. This is for the salt. This with the bunny ears for if something
if you need heating for some places, so you put it in the microwave and then heat the places. So normally it's for kids on the belly.
Yes. And this is scented bags.
Yeah, so Sandra, I will help you. We are still looking for some products we can sell, how to say, a lot in the market. So those are tries. And now, for example, we are making the Sandra. We are negotiating with a company who is doing those things for England, and that is the cover on the fence, how to say, how you call those, where the fence is holding, and then you put, because of the rain, you put this thing on it, and they need millions and thousands of those, and these are quite simple to do. So we may have this contract with them, and then we have work ongoing all the years. So that is as example for what kind of work we look in the labor market. Simple, no push to do millions of it, because they have many contracts in all over the Europe with such little companies, and they are not pushing us to do thousands or some certain amount. So if you do 10 or 100, it's okay. Just give us to us. Those products come from all over the Lithuania, and then they send it to England. So that is perfect job. Perfect contract we can have. So let's keep fingers crossed.
Thank you very, very much.